Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen. Thanks again for joining me and checking out my videos on my channel. If you are a fan of my channel, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it. And if you have not subscribed already, be sure to do that and click the little notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload. But today's video, I usually do a what's for dinner, but today's video is going to be a little different. I have some desserts that I need to make, and I figured why not bring you guys along. We have a fellowship meal at church that I'm going to make a couple pies for. I'm going to make a mixed berry pie and a blackberry pie. And then I'm also going to make some banana bread. My kids love it. We have some bananas that need to be used up, so that's a great way to get rid of them without just chucking them. I hate to throw food away. And then I am going to make an Oreo poke cake for dessert after supper. So if you guys are interested in any of those recipes or just want to hang out with me for a little while, I'm totally cool with that. Just stick around and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so first I am going to show you how to make Joanna Gaines banana bread. This is the absolute best banana bread recipe I think I have ever come across. Literally, I'm not a fan of bananas. Don't like them. I'll eat banana flavored anything, but I'm not a fan of actual bananas, and I can eat this stuff like it's cake. So all I'm doing is just taking 4 very ripe bananas and just peeling them, putting them straight into the bowl. That way we can smash them up. Once all of the bananas are peeled and in your bowl, you just want to smash them. I'm using a pastry cutter. You can use a fork or you can use a potato masher. Totally up to you. Just get them all good and smushed. Now that my bananas are completely smashed, I am pouring in some melted butter, a couple beaten eggs, some brown sugar, and some vanilla. And I'm just going to mix that really well with a whisk, or you can do it with a hand mixer, or you can do this whole process in a stand mixer. Now that all my wet ingredients are combined, I'm going to add straight into the bowl. You can do this in a separate bowl and add into this one, but I'm all about less dishes. So I'm adding in some all-purpose flour, some baking soda, and salt. So now I'm just going to spray my loaf pan with some nonstick cooking spray, and then I'm going to pour my batter directly in. This next step is completely optional, but Joanna Gaines suggested, and I mean, who is going to argue with her when this is an amazing recipe? Once you have your batter poured in, sprinkle the top with some white granulated sugar, as little or as much as you like, and then bake it at 350 for about 45 to 50 minutes. I promise you that sprinkled sugar on top is what sets this whole thing off. Now, once your bread is done, let it cool and then transfer it to the cutest little serving dish you have. And there you go. Awesome banana bread. Now, this I think was probably my family's most favorite dessert that I make. And it is an Oreo poke cake. So, for this, I am going to make a chocolate cake. This is actually fudge, I believe, chocolate fudge cake. But I'm going to use a boxed cake mix and just make it according to the directions on the back. Pop it in the oven and bake it at the suggested time. So while my cake is in the oven baking, I am going to go ahead and make the pudding mixture for this poke cake. The recipe I found actually calls for Oreo pudding, but I could not find that anywhere in my store. So it did say you could either use chocolate or vanilla pudding. We chose chocolate because, I mean, who doesn't like chocolate? But I just dumped my package of pudding mix straight into my milk that it required on the side of the box. I did not read the box and realize that I bought the kind of pudding that you have to cook. I thought I bought instant pudding, but that's okay. I just put it on the stove and did it according to the directions and then set it to the side. Now my cake is done, so while it's still hot, I'm just going to take the end of a wooden spoon and poke holes all the way through. Now I've got my holes poked all through my cake, and I'm going to pour over all of my pudding that I made on the stove, and I'm gonna just spread it out like I would icing on a cake, making sure that every little bit of pudding gets inside of those holes. I have covered it with some tinfoil and put it in the fridge and just let it chill for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then I'll pull it back out and use a container of whipped cream. I bought the large one because I have intentions of making another dessert with it, so this is the big tub. I only used about half of that, but I'm going to put that directly on top of my pudding and spread it out just like it is cake frosted. Now this last part you don't want to do until you're ready to serve the cake, so I actually served mine the following day, which is why you see an outfit change. But I have about 10 to 15 Oreos inside of a Ziploc bag, and I'm just crushing them on my counter with my rolling pin. And then I'm gonna just beat them until they get to the consistency or the size crumbs that I want, and I'll take them out and sprinkle them all over my cake, and then it's ready to serve. And this is your finished product. If you love Oreos, this is the dessert for you. If you're not a chocolate fan, I'm so sorry, but you're probably not going to like this. But it was a big hit in our house. We all love Oreos. We all love chocolate. And we all suggest you give this one a try. And last but not least, we have a mixed berry pie that we are taking to church for a church fellowship meal. Okay, so we are going to start out by making a homemade pie crust. This is not my recipe. This is a recipe that I found over on Kim Martin's channel. I'll link it down below in the description box. But basically, you just start out with some all-purpose flour and some Crisco. And then you're going to cut that in together with a pastry cutter until you get like pea-sized crumbles. And then to bring it all into actual dough form, you're going to add really cold water to the Crisco and the flour. I believe I used like 7 or 8 tablespoons, but like I said, I'll link it all down in the description box of exactly how Kim Martin says to do this. But I'm just making my pie crust and then we'll get ready to roll it out. So I have made sure that my counter is clean and I have floured it very well. And I'll just turn my pie dough out onto the floured surface and just incorporate that in there while I knead the dough and just make it an actual ball. And then we're just going to cut it in half and roll out the 2 pieces. pie crust rolled out. One's in the bottom of my pie dish, and the other one we're going to set to the side, and we're going to get started on our pie filling. So for this pie, I decided to do a mixed berry pie. I have strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. I used the frozen ones from the store. I used about 4 cups of berries and added about a cup of water in and brought that to a boil. And there, I'm just adding in some sugar to go ahead and sweeten this. And then I'm going to add in some lemon juice. I just used fresh because I had lemons that needed to be used up. So I'm going to bring this all back to a boil for a little bit before we add in our thickener. I've added the cornstarch and some water in to create the thickener, and I'm just going to let it cook for a few minutes till it thickens up. And I poured it directly into my pie crust that we made earlier, and now I'm just going to top it with the other one, trim off the edges, and then we're going to put it in the oven. Sure to cut little slits in the top of your pie crust, either with a little knife like this or with some kitchen shears. That way it vents while it's cooking. Also, before you put it in the oven, brush it with some water or an egg wash and sprinkle over some sugar. So you want to put this in the oven to bake at 350 degrees for about 35 to 45 minutes, depending on your oven. Once it comes out, let it set for a little bit before you cut into it. I filled mine a little full, but that just makes it a little more rustic looking. If you like videos like this and you enjoyed these recipes, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload. See you next time.